By the time the second punch hit me in the jaw, I sensed, even through my drunken stupor, that my face was actually taking on damage. Despite the alcohol, it occurred to me that a speedy response on my part would be required to allay further injury. I used a tight clinch to my opponent's neck and drew him into my shoulder to smother the surprisingly heavy hooks he was landing. That stopped the punches that, though I did not know it yet, had permanently dislocated my jaw. We wrestled a little. I couldn't see him because he was so close, and my world was momentarily a claustrophobic dark space of panting breath, grunts, and the sound of our shoes scuffing the floor as we battled for a dominant position. I released the clinch, and he took the bait. He drew back his meaty fist to hit me again. I saw the opportunity, and I caught him squarely in the nose with a pretty solid headbutt, sending blood squirting down his t-shirt. My opponent was a solidly built Greek man, squat and girthy. He had clearly trained, as his jaw-breaking punches had shown me, and beneath his fat was real strength. He went in with an upper body clinch to prevent further skull-to-nose contact, and he wound me into an over-under clinch. I felt the fear that something terrible might befall me. I responded with a jumping guard. This is a move from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, where you hold your opponent in a clinch and jump up, wrapping your legs around his torso and dragging him to the ground. You end up on your back. This sounds disadvantageous, I know, but if you know your submissions, it's a potentially good strategy. The trick is that you must be comfortable delivering arm bars or triangle chokes. Let me say this, it's fine in competition, and it works great on a safe, matted surface in the gym. However, I would not recommend doing it on a tarmac footpath as I did that evening. My spine and the back of my head clonked onto the hard path, and my body loudly announced that I had done something both stupid and injurious to my person. I pulled him into a deep close guard to keep him from using those sheep-shearing Greek farmer's fists on my face any further. My jaw was dislocated, and my left eye was rapidly closing up. I was prepared to triangle choke or armbar him when he inevitably posted up, meaning when he tried to push away and get upright with his arms. He was ready to go on punching my face into oblivion. Luckily, the now dreaded farmer's fists of ancient Sparta never landed. As if by some far-off signal heard only by the two of us, locked in that intimate embrace, we simply stopped. It was over. Our bodies agreed. I unlocked my position, and we both stood up and looked at each other, a little bewildered. His nose was mashed. My face was blowing up like a pumpkin. The skirmish was brief and violent, and left us both a little shocked, I think. We staggered away from each other, perhaps with a little more respect for the other than at the initiation of the event. He left holding his newly reconfigured nose, and me my mashed mandible. This was a fight that I got into at York University at 2 a.m. after 6 solid hours of drinking. It was one of many I mysteriously found myself in as a 20-something. I only fought when I could see that a friend was in real danger. The problem was that I had idiotic and reckless friends. Privileged kids in private school who enjoyed the adrenaline rush of a brawl. They got away with a few bumps and scrapes. I, on the other hand, had an eye that was completely closed for 3 days, and my bite is still not aligned properly 2 decades later. Bearing the burden of other people's poor decisions cheerfully is something of a theme in my life. At age 21, as a devout martial arts enthusiast, I had a penchant for getting into fights with the kind of delusional confidence in my own indestructibility which is only afforded to those young enough to know no better. I had not internalized truths that I now consider to be self-evident. For example, there are bigger, tougher, nastier people out there. Even if you beat them, they will come to your house. If you're not in, they will deliver their vengeance to whomever is. Or even if you win, the bigger your win, the more jail time you can get, and the nastier the prison you can end up in. Or simply, I really, really, really don't want to go to prison, ever. No, not even for fraud in Denmark in one of their famous luxury 5-star jails. And most importantly, the body can break, and the injuries can be lifelong. These things had to be learned with time, bitter experience, and suffering.